time I said it because two groups of the branches, they are very easy. But they are very easy, but you must remember about last material, because the branches of the Sarasa they produce the anastomosis with some another arteries which we studied, with branches of the subclavian artery, I will recollect you. And another, today you studied the superior vena cava. Next time lesson will be very difficult. No, at first you will repeat the veins of the brain, the sinuses of the dura mater, and you will study the veins of the facial side and of the head and veins of the neck. At first I want to recollect to you the number of the veins in our organism in 2.5 times more than the number of the arteries. If you remember, the heart works like pump and by big pressure directs the blood by arteries. Also, in the walls of the arteries is placed elastic membrane, and this is elastic membrane, do you see, it is placed by external and internal, and the very, very thicker they are in the aorta. And when the blood enters into the aorta or into the other arteries, they cannot expand by visit of the arteries, because do you see, this elastic membrane, they produce resistance. Another, in the walls of the arteries is placed muscular tissue, the contraction of which helps to push distally the blood. This do you see objects. You can see about veins. In the veins, elastic membranes are not contrast. This is one moment. And another, do you see, the blood, do you see, goes to the heart. And by minus pressure, do you see, the heart like collects this blood. But blood goes, the biggest portion of the blood goes opposite than its weight. Heart is placed in the thoracic cavity, and do you see, biggest portion of the blood goes opposite than, do you see, its weight. Because, do you see, through the one moment to the objects comes the any portion of the blood. And through this moment, the same portion of the blood must exit from this object. Because the number of the veins, do you see, in 2.5 times more than the number of the arteries. Very often, along of the one smaller artery, the diameter of which will be lesser than the 3 millimeters, are placed 2 veins. This is one moment. Another, we have some veins which are individual in our organs, which don't locate together with along of the artery. For example, on the neck, we have only one general carotid common artery, which by its subdivision will supply the all things of the head. But along of the carotid common artery, by opposite way of the blood is located the jugular internal vein. But besides jugular internal vein, on the neck is placed jugular external, jugular anterior, they are placed individually. Also, we have retromandibular vein, which doesn't have the same artery, because more of veins, if they are located along of the artery, they have the same name and they denote the same objects. Some of them are individual. Do you remember we studied from heart exits aorta, from left ventricle exits aorta by systemic circulation, but into the heart by systemic circulation the blood returns by 2 veins, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Also, when do you see arteries, do you see go, do you see from proximal to distal, they supply the some objects. And very often they give the smaller branches to the skin by different floors. But on the limbs and on the body, we have individual veins for the draination of the skin, and they are placed without arteries. Arteries, do you see, by often floors will direct by smaller branches to the skin. No, for example, on the palmar side is placed palmar vein plexus, which collects into the vein which goes along of the medial side of the forum and opens into the cubital vein, into the brachial vein, excuse me. And do you see here from dorsal side? Do you see many veins? Do you see they complete? Do you see into the cephalic vein, which goes above and between deltoid muscle and pectoral major? It opens into the axillary vein. We have these veins for draination of the skin. Long saphenous vein and short saphenous vein, they are placed so look like on the upper limb, on the lower limb for the draination of the skin. You can see again, do you see we have veins, we don't have alone of them arteries. I said you in the walls of the veins is placed muscular tissue, but it is not very active like in the arteries. And we don't have very contrast elastic membranes, but we have valves. Because this is space of the vein, and here will be valve. The blood, do you see, comes, do you see, and opposite way closes by a valve. New portion, do you see, pushes distally the last portion, and do you see again closes. Because in the veins we have valves. You can see this is information about why the number of the veins in 2.5 times less, more than the number of the arteries. And another. Last time I said you, for the organs which are important, which are mobile, which can expand by storing of the something, we have the communication of the arteries, which do anastomosis. The number of the vein anastomosis is more than the number of the arterial anastomosis. More of anastomosis, which we studied arterial, they are placed together with vein anastomosis. The same anastomosis from, for example, from thyroid gland, the blood will exit by thyroid superior vein, thyroid inferior vein, and also will be thyroid medial vein, because thyroid superior, thyroid inferior, they are placed along of the same arteries, yes? And arteries brought blood with pressure, and veins, do you see, direct out blood without pressure. Because, do you see, we have extra veins, thyroid medial right, thyroid medial left, do you see, and also can be thyroid ima propria, which, do you see, do the optimal evacuation of the blood by same moment, which, do you see, the arterial blood came. You can see, but when we will study by some lessons, do you see, after our control, the blood supply of the walls and organs of the abdominal cavity, we will study another special, very, very important vein anastomosis, because for us it's important to evacuate very fast deoxygenated blood, because dioxygen, it is venom, and we must evacuate it very concretely through the short time. Did you understand? This is information about veins. Today you studied at home superior vena cava. What you must know about it. Later we will take the body, I will show you what you must know for today. By what branches superior vena cava is completed. What veins bring blood into the superior vena cava only. Today's topic. But, and into the superior vena cava brings blood besides brachiocephalic right and left, azygos vein. It is translated the Amper vein. What? Why do you see? Because into it by opposite side of the vertebral column from lower brings blood hemiazygos vein. What is hemiazygos? Like the half pair, do you see? This will be unpair and this will be unpair, because at first it brings blood into the azygos and azygos opens into the superior vena cava. Only this material you must know for today. Next time you will repeat, I said you arteries, veins, excuse me, veins of the brain, the vein sinuses of the dura mater. I will ask you, I will begin next lesson by asking of the vein sinuses and veins of the brain. And after that, new veins of the facial side, more of which are placed along of the arteries, except, for example, around of the maxillary artery will locate pterygoid plexus. No, this will be next time. This all individual situations I will explain you, and this will be for next time. In one lesson later will be control. On the control will be pointings. Please, next time, take from model on the paper typer the list of the pointings, because you see, mark the all arteries, veins, nerves which are placed on the head, neck, and thoracic region. We will do see. Next time I will do revision about them, and in one lesson later, when will be control, I will ask you pointings. If you know pointings, this is first stage of the exam, before exam. If you will not pass pointings, you will not go on theoretical exam, because I will produce very, very big attention. And for the next time, you will repeat, I asked you, and before this I didn't ask you, you will repeat muscles of the head, neck, thoracic muscles, and you will prepare the another pointings, because at first I will do your revision on the lesson when will be control. You see, I will ask you muscles and vessels by pointings, because this is, do you see, no, 1/10 part of the material for the exam. If, do you see, you will answer me next in 1 week later, it will be better for you. But next lesson, do you see, after my asking about sinuses, after my asking about veins of the brain, after my explanation of new material, I will do revision about these pointings. Did you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I said you, I will not explain you thoracic aorta. I will show you, when we will take the brain, I will show only the regions of the aorta and some branches. And by, do you see, second time of today's lesson, you will answer me the branches of the thoracic aorta, and not branches, my dear. Branches, if you will answer me the names of branches only. This is poem about, this is about nothing. Because, do you see, this is not important for your clinic knowledges. I will ask you how this object is supplied, how this object is supplied, what anastomosis these branches do. This is your clinic, do you see, clinic logic thinking. Do you see? The names of the arteries, the names of the veins, this is about nothing. This is very easy. Last semester, we studied cranial nerves. And cranial nerves, they control the more of objects of the head, neck, and only vagus nerve directs distally into the thoracic cavity, into the abdominal cavity by its vegetative portion. But by last semester, we studied CNS, and CNS includes what?
Brain. Central nervous system.
Ankita, you are about what? CNS includes what?
Central nervous system. Brain and spinal cord.
Brain and spinal cord. Okay, brain and spinal cord. And spinal cord, for direction from it, the spinal nerves. And how many spinal nerves we have? 31 pairs. And last time I explained you last semester, and now I will recollect you the structure of the spinal nerve. You can see. can see this is segmenta of the spinal cord. This segmenta is to any thoracic segmenta. You can see here will be gray matter, you see, which on the horizontal section is placed by anterior horns, lateral horns, and posterior horns. This gray matter is placed around of the spinal canal. And you can see posterior horns, they are sensory. Lateral horns, they are vegetative. And anterior horns, they are motor. To the posterior horn, to the posterior mitral. To the posterior horns, we have visit of the afferent neurons, the bodies of which will locate in the spinal ganglion, which is placed in the vertebral canal near the spinal cord. This will be intervertebral opening. You can see from anterior horns exit the motor portion. And you see some thousands of the afferent fibers, some thousands of the motor fibers. This is somatic part of central nervous, of peripheral nervous system. This is somatic part of the spinal nerve. Somatic part which is controlled by our consciousness. You can see from vegetative forms here completes the vegetative portion. Vegetative portion is everywhere. It is placed in each pair of the spinal nerves, in each pair. But if you know this is any thoracic segmenta, and here, for example, any except 8 cervical segmenta, any cervical segmenta doesn't have lateral horns, vegetative fibers. But here we have afferent, do you see fiber? Что ж такое? Here we have afferent portion. You can see this will be afferent portion. This will be, do you see, motor portion. And do you see, I said some minutes ago about each spinal nerve consists of vegetative portion. But here we have not vegetative center. What will be? From here, by white matter will come this vegetative portion and will complete into the all spinal nerves, which begin from segmentus where is absent, do you see, this lateral horn. From 8 cervical till, do you see, second lumbar segmentus, we have lateral horns for the sympathetic system. Why? From this sympathetic system, this vegetative portion completes into each spinal nerve. Because sympathetic nerve system, besides control of smooth muscular tissue, besides control of the secretion tissue, it controls trophism of the all tissues in our organism. And because for the control of the trophism, it includes, it is placed in each spinal nerve. Did you understand? You can see. Here is characteristic of the spinal nerve. But spinal nerve, each spinal nerve, exits by intervertebral opening. Here you can see, do you see? Here by intervertebral opening, yellow branches, these are spinal nerves. How the spinal nerve exits by intervertebral opening, it divides into 2 branches. One branch will direct to the back, includes sensory portion. Да что ж это такое? By what they wash the blackboard? By soap, наверное. You can see this will be sensory portion is called cutaneous branch. And here do you see will be motor portion, muscular branch. They will go to the back. Vegetative portion will complete here and here, everywhere, because it controls trophism. Did you understand? But about vegetative portion, today we will do you see only put information into our memory. The all do you see all spinal nerves, they are mixed, and all their divisions, all branches include the sympathetic portion for the control of the trophism. In some lessons later, we will study vegetative nerve system and we will come back to it. Now we will remember this vegetative portion will complete into these all branches. You can see this will be posterior branch. Posterior branch, it divides into the skin, cutaneous, and muscular. Listen to me. Look please here. Posterior branch will exit from a right spinal nerve and will go to right side, from left to left side, and will control this level or this floor of the deep muscles and skin superficially than it. Next, will control this floor of the deep muscles and skin superficially by cutaneous branch. Do you see this? If we will draw the scheme of the back of our body, you can see this is scheme of the back of our body. You can see this is median line. Look this here. It will have, do you see, like straighted condition. Do you see? Why? Because do you see, when the posterior branches exit, they divide into the skin and muscular, and they have segmental according. What is segmental according? Near which segment they will exit, from which segment they will exit, near this segment they will innervate the submuscular portion, do you see, and the skin superficially, muscular portion and skin superficially. This is called segmental according. Only posterior branches. Did you understand? The anterior branches, they will go in front of. Anterior branches in thoracic region, if they go, do you see, in front of, they, do you see, go in the thoracic region, they go into the intercostal spaces, and they are called intercostal nerves. Do you remember we started with you costal groove on the lower margin on internal side? No, this nerve, do you see, anterior branch will exit and will, do you see, go into the each, do you see, its intercostal space. And these nerves are called intercostal nerves. They will be so energized of the posterior branches. Nerve will enter into the intercostal space, will control intercostal and internal and external muscles and skin superficially. Internal and external intercostal muscle and skin superficially. Because in the thoracic region will be segmental according of the anterior branches, like on the back. In the cervical region, you can see in the cervical region. What will be in the cervical region? This is first cervical segment. You can see. This, you see, is spinal cord. This is first cervical segment. This is second. This is third. This is fourth. Second, second, third, and fourth segments. Do you see? Here you can see will be spinal nerve, which includes sensory, motor, and vegetative. For our example, we speak only about somatic system. We took sensory and motor. Here from next segment will exit, do you see, the second door. From third will exit the fourth. Third north. From fourth will exit, do you see, the fourth north. This is north. Each north divides into what branches? Posterior, do you see, which include muscular and, do you see, cutaneous, muscular and cutaneous, muscular and cutaneous, about which we said, do you see, and anterior branches. Anterior branches, do you see, from fourth, do you see, will complete, do you see, into the inferior root. From fourth and third. From first and second will complete into the, you can see, superior root. Superior root. This will be roots. My dear, by last semester we studied medalia oblongata. In the medalia oblongata, which is placed above the spinal cord, is placed hypoglossal nucleus. Motor nucleus for the all muscles of the tongue. Hypoglossal nerve exits, passes through the hypoglossal canal and enters into the muscles of the tongue. Listen to me. From inferior and from the superior, from superior root and from inferior root, the muscular fibers complete into the hypoglossal nerve. Distally, then it exits from hypoglossal canal. For example, the person has a fracture of the base of the skull, and by fracture, cutted hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal nerve, do you see, it is for the very active mobility, because tongue is very mobile organ. But mobility will decrease very large, but will not stop. Did you understand? There will be smaller mobility, which is formed by, do you see, these branches which complete into the hypoglossal nerve after its exit from hypoglossal canal. Another, what will be next? You can see. Here, do you see, from, do you see, superior root and from inferior root will be formed the nerve which will collect only sensory fibers. Here, do you see, another nerve, here, another nerve, do you see, here, another nerve. Will be four nerves which collect, do you see, only sensory fibers. What they do? Here, do you see, they cross, they mix, do you see? And you can see from, do you see, superior root and from inferior root will be formed the some nerves which will collect only motor fibers, only motor fibers. You can see, and from, do you see, superior root and inferior root, and from will collect motor fibers, do you see, and sensory fibers into the one mixed nerve. We did the nerves. And do you see, what will be here? At first, this, do you see, anterior branches exit, do you see? After that, its fibers mix, and from this mixing will be formed the some individual bifunction nerves. This mixing is called the plexus. This is called cervical plexus. The nerves which exit from first, second, third, and fourth segments, or first, second, third, fourth spinal nerves, by their anterior branches, they do plexus. Posterior branches, by segmental accordion, directed to the back. Did you understand? This will be plexus. The nerves, do you see, which will be formed from anterior branches of the cervical plexus. They divide into the sensory, motor,